Trauma Therapist Podcast, episode 356. Welcome to the Trauma Therapist Podcast. My name is Guy Macpherson. My mission is to raise the awareness of trauma and to help support and inspire new trauma workers through this podcast and my membership community, Trauma Therapist 2.0. Thanks so much for joining me today, and here we go. Hey folks, Guy Macpherson here, and thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. You know, a lot of you know that, let me restart that again. I've been working here full time at the Trauma Therapist Project, the Trauma Therapist Podcast, and my membership community, Trauma Therapist 2.0, for a year, about a full year now. And prior to that, I was working at a clinic up here in Northern California. And many of you know that, that position I had there. I was working under a licensed clinician. For 5 years, we were assessing and treating young individuals who were showing early signs of psychosis. And, not surprisingly, there was a lot of trauma there. I was part of a team, a really kind of close-knit team that helped develop the program. It was kind of a startup in a sense. We were all trained together. We helped develop the materials, all the training materials, assessment materials. We didn't develop the assessment materials per se. We put everything together, and when we presented them, we'd put those materials together. But my point in telling you this and sharing this with you is that experience was incredible for me. It was one of the best clinical experiences I've had. I learned so much about this topic of early psychosis. And for the longest time, I've wanted to put together a course, and I'm super excited to announce today publicly that I'm going to launch the course. I sent it out to my email list, and they're, querying people, seeing if there was interest, and there was a lot of interest. So the course is called Early Psychosis, Understanding and Assessing the Signs and Symptoms, an online workshop experience for therapists, coaches, mentors, and teachers. And it's going to go live Monday, May 20th through Friday, May 24th. So similar to my last course, this is going to be over Zoom, live over Zoom. So each day, Monday through Friday, I'm going to come on for about an hour and share different bits, topics or headings about this particular topic. And this is going to be, I think, a really great learning experience if you're a therapist and you're really curious about learning about psychosis, because actually a lot of therapists and even a lot of psychiatrists aren't so familiar with this early intervention topic of early psychosis. And I'm going to get into a lot of the background about psychosis and early psychosis. Just as an aside, for the longest time, for decades, really, people thought that, clinicians in psychiatry thought that, if an individual had psychosis, well, that was it. It was basically a kind of a wait and see decision. And during the last 20 years or so, primarily in Europe, there was a lot of interest and research into understanding and trying to figure out, well, what were the precursors? What were the signs and symptoms that could and sometimes did lead to an individual experiencing psychosis, and even on the far end of that continuum, schizophrenia. So, but we're going to be talking about in this course, what are the signs and symptoms? What does early psychosis mean? Really how to distinguish between those early signs and kind of quote unquote full-blown psychosis on one part of the continuum, and even on the far end of the continuum. I'm stretching out my right hand here all the way on that other end, schizophrenia. But we're going to talk about, how to determine whether someone is experiencing these signs, how to talk to and really assess young kids, how to talk to parents about this or teachers. Oftentimes when I was working, we would get a lot of calls from therapists, from teachers, from parents, concerned about their kid who maybe was acting out, suddenly maybe losing interest in sports or isolating. And so I'm going to really talk about how to talk to parents and people making referrals, and even sometimes the kids would get on the phone too, and I really love that because you just really get a chance to talk to them and find out what's going on. And there are ways to do this, and there are things to make sure you ask, and there are things to make sure you don't say. I'm going to talk a lot about that too, and how to go about even conducting more of a formal meeting, in a sense. When they come in and you talk to their parents and you talk to the kid, in a sense, how to do that. This is not going to be a certification in doing the assessment, but is really going to give you, if you're a therapist of any kind, even if you're a psychiatrist, if you're a counselor, if you're a teacher, this is really going to give you a really good foundation about what to look for, about how to assess what you do see. Oftentimes when teachers or clinicians are hearing that a client is experiencing certain maybe hallucinations, be they visual, auditory, or even somatic, it's really easy just to think that, oh my God, this is happening or that's happening. We're going to break down how to look at those symptoms, how to assess those symptoms. And I think it's going to be an awesome, I'm so excited to do this course, and I'd love to have you join me. So again, this is the first time that I'm announcing this publicly. For the last week or so, those people who've been on my email list have been able to get like super early bird pricing. But if you are interested, you can head on over to earlypsicosiscourse.com. That's earlypsicosiscourse.com. Get some information there. And once again, this is going to be starting Monday, May 20th, and go through Friday, May 24th. It's going to be live on Zoom. There's going to be Q&As after each call. I am super excited, and I hope to see you there. So once again, if you're interested, go to earlypsicosiscourse.com and get some more information, and I hope to see you there. All right, take care.
Today's episode is brought to you by Audible.com. I've teamed up with Audible.com to bring you a free audiobook when you sign up for a free 1-month trial. This is amazing, and it's a no-brainer. It's so easy. Go to thetraumatherapistproject.com/freebook. That's thetraumatherapistproject.com/freebook. Select your book and enjoy. If at the end of the month you decide the membership isn't for you, it's not working for you for whatever reason, you simply opt out, but you keep your book. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from. It's good on your iPhone, your Android, your tablet, whatever. Look, continually keeping up to date and informed is key in our field. It's crucial. They have classic works such as Trauma and Recovery by Judith Herman, also newer ones like The Body Keeps a Score by Bessel van der Kolk, and the one that I'm going to be recommending today, The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog by Bruce Perry, one of my favorites. Plus, they have an amazing return policy. So get your book by going to thetraumatherapistproject.com/freebook, thetraumatherapistproject.com/freebook, and enjoy.